Should you grab a third baseman early, or is the position deep enough to wait? We have the answer to that and more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Ane, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Ane. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. And you know what? If you do, you might as well take a screenshot of that and join us over on the Subtext platform. Send us over that screenshot, and guess what? You'll get a chance to join our coveted listener league for this season. We've already given out 2 spots. We got a bunch more to give out. We're giving out 4 spots on March 6th and 4 more spots, the 4 final spots on March 20th. So make sure you get your entries in before then. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel and gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And guys, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. And guys, we're continuing our position preview episodes, target and avoid type position preview episodes with third base. And before I kick it over to Matt and, we really, get into this third base position, guys, baseball's back. Spring training is here. The Dodgers are already dodgering. If you haven't seen it, Dodgers were up 8-0 last time I checked, 4th inning. And, baseball's here. Matt, my brother, any thoughts on some spring training before we head into third base?
Well, since there's only been like a game.
Half a game?
Yeah, not even yet. I'm just excited it's back. Excited to actually get some answers on some guys. And, I feel like a lot of question marks are going to be either removed or added to the end of players' names. And some of them are on the show today. So I'm pretty excited to get in on this and start rolling. Do you have anything else to add? Or otherwise, I'm going to hop in on this.
Nah, let's do it. Let's do third base, brother.
All right. So this is all based off of ADP. If you've been joining our series, I've had to break this down. We're pretty much just rocking through ADP breakdown first half, then targets and avoid for the whole rest of the show. So Jose Ramirez, Austin Riley, Rafael Devers, and Gunnar Henderson, and Elly De La Cruz. That's your top 5 in ADP. Jose Ramirez is pretty much a no-brainer. Mr. Consistent, just does what he does. It's always the question of will Father Time catch up to him at age 35? I don't know.
Is he 35?
I believe so. If I'm not, fact check me if you can.
I'm going to. I don't think so, but I'm going to pull it up.
Maybe 33. I just feel like he's old. But I mean, it's not going to stop me from drafting him. If anything, you're getting him at a discount this season.
31.
Okay. You're getting him at a discount this season too, funny enough. Usually he's like a top 5, top 6 pick. You're getting him at pick 15 right now overall. I like that. I don't mind snagging him in the second round if I have an early second round pick. It would be nice to pair him up with, I don't know, say scooped up like Soto.
Matt Olson.
No, I'm not scooping up Matt Olson in the first. I'll pick like a Judge or a Soto or, one of the outfielders, swing around and then get Jose Ramirez if Matt Olson is gone. But anyway, it's just one of those things. But I like Ramirez a lot. Austin Riley is great. Also going in the second round, I believe. Pick 20 off the board.
Yeah, let's save him for later. I think we're going to talk about him a little bit more a little bit later.
Completely forgot. Rafael Devers, Mr. Consistent, Mr. I don't really have a team around me. That's my only issue. Like he has Casas and is it Yoshida? So like
they put together a little sneaky team. Tyler O'Neill comes in.
I forgot
who else did they grab? They grabbed somebody else too. I forget who it was. But the team's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's just nothing like special that he's really going to benefit from the team around him. So ultimately he'll just do what he does every year. Gunnar Henderson, somebody I like this year. I've been drafting a lot, but with this oblique injury, it's a little scary. Right now, I just read the update is that he should only miss a few Grapefruit League games, and then he should be back to rocking and rolling, which is great news. If he does, manage to get past this oblique issue and not do the regular standard 6 weeks is usually what happens when you tweak an oblique. I'm pretty excited to say I will be drafting him almost everywhere. So, yeah. And then Ellie De La Cruz, I spoke a hell of a lot about yesterday. So if you want that breakdown, just head back to the shortstop preview.
Yeah, Matt. I think strong take on Jose Ramirez. He's still who he is. He's still going to get good power, still going to get good speed. Let's see if that Cleveland team is a little bit better than they were last year, because the counting stats were a little bit down from what Jose Ramirez normally does. But I think you draft him with confidence. And, if you could pair him with somebody, that's going he could be your first pick, technically. If you have that, last pick in the first round, that 12th pick, you pair him with somebody that I like to grab, going around that range is a Matt Olson. And I think that's a great combination there. Riley, we're going to talk about later. Devers, great breakdown. I love him. Definitely a guy to, you could feel safe drafting. He's going to give you 4 strong categories. Gunnar Henderson, somebody that I disagree with Matt on, a little bit. We've spoken about it. I got to see one more go around for Gunnar. I got to see him prove it one more time. I know the hype is legit. I know he's a very, very talented young player, but I still have a few question marks, struck out a little bit much for my liking last year. I think the batting average is something that we're banking on taking a step forward, according to Gunnar's ADP, which is pick 33. There's other things I like to do with that time, but when we get to the end of the episode and I really start talking about what my strategy is at third base, I'll talk to you guys about that. Ellie De La Cruz, Matt, you did a fantastic job, yesterday, and I talked about him a little bit as well. So go check out the shortstop episode for more on Ellie De La Cruz. But let's move on to that next 5. You got Manny Machado, who's coming off the board as the 6th third baseman, pick 52. Royce Lewis, the 7th third baseman, pick 64. Alex Bregman, the 8th third baseman, pick 69. Then there's a little drop off here to Nolan Arenado, 9th third baseman, pick 82. And then Ha-Seong Kim, the 10th third baseman at pick 84. When it comes to these guys, Manny Machado still recovering from an elbow surgery in the offseason. Looks like they're really going to ease him into it. He's supposed to DH a little bit in spring training when he's ready. Who knows when that's going to be, though. So, he's not somebody I'm targeting, but, if he starts to fall when it comes to ADP as spring training's here now, I can see myself taking him if he drops off a little bit, but I'm not taking him at pick 52. Royce Lewis, I'll let Matt really deep dive Royce Lewis. That's one of his guys, but great upcoming young talent. Could potentially do it all. The only thing that's going to be holding him back is injuries, but I think it's somebody that you could, be safe taking when it comes to, this year's drafts. Alex Bregman, honestly, somebody I find myself drafting a lot. I really find myself drafting Alex Bregman a lot. He's coming off the board at pick 70. He's going to be good in, he's going to give you good runs in RBIs, 25, around 25 homers, and the average is usually pretty good for Alex Bregman. So he's going to be plus in 2 categories. The homers are going to be, around average, and the batting average also around average, and he doesn't steal bases. Nolan Arenado is an interesting guy, kind of took a little bit of a step back last year.
I'm talking about him in the next half.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. Yeah. So let's save Nolan Arenado for a little bit later. Thank you, my brother. Ha-Seong Kim, we've talked about on the second base episode. So if you want to deep dive on Ha-Seong Kim, you could go and check that one out. Matt, what do you think about these 5 guys?
You pretty much covered everyone well. Royce Lewis is the only one you left for me, and I will love to talk about Mr. Royce. Royce Lewis, man, guy couldn't stay on the field and have a healthy knee for the life of him for about 2 years, held back his career. Last year, finally was able to, come and do a decent showing in the majors and really did not disappoint. In that short stint, 217 at-bats, 36 runs, 7 doubles. Gotta hate pop-ups. 15 home runs, 52 ribs, 6 stolen bases, and batted .309. He really just showed out. I think that next year is going to be a serious step forward as long as the dude could just stay on the field. I think he's kind of figured it out, even though he did miss some time once he was in the majors, I think about a month. But it was a silly oblique. It wasn't like he tore something, which was, pretty much the issue. And you're going to see, one thing that was really, really indicative that he might be able to stay healthy as he didn't deal with like sore calves, which usually follows ACL injuries. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that, that kind of soft tissue issue isn't happening. It was just a simple oblique, which can linger, but that was last year. So I don't think we'll see that this year. We shall see. Royce Lewis is a must draft, in my opinion. So, just take a look at that and trust me, you're going to want him over other guys. But before we move on and we cover, 5 more guys that start giving us our targets and avoids, we got an awesome break for you.
And guys, we're talking about Backblaze. Backblaze makes backing up and accessing your data astonishingly easy. With unlimited cloud backup for Macs, PCs, and businesses for just $99 a year, you can easily protect business data through a centralized managed admin. Backblaze is easy to deploy across multiple workstations with various deployment options. Access your backed up data from anywhere in the world using their web app or their iOS or Android app. With Backblaze, you can restore by mail, hard drive with all your data shipped to your door. Buy a hard drive restore, send the hard drive back within 30 days and get a full refund. Backblaze has assisted with over 55 billion files restored for customers. Receive a fully featured, no-risk free trial at backblaze.com/lockedonmlb. Go there, play with it, start protecting yourself from potential bad times. Start today. And guys, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe for the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. And guys, lastly, but the one that's most important to Matt and I, and especially to you guys this time of year, Matt and I are bringing back the Locked On podcast, Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast Diamond Club on the Subtext platform, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion. Dive into the offseason with Matt and I as we provide our tiered rankings with over 100 outfielders and starting pitchers. You'll also have exclusive access to our prospect insights, sleepers, breakouts, busts, and we're giving out your personalized draft grades. When you have burning questions, we've got the answers. As the season unfolds, you can rely on us for dynamic content. Get real-time alerts right to your phone, including waiver wire rankings, instant call-up notifications, injury reactions, and a whole lot more. Stay ahead of your fantasy league by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where the path to your victories begin. Subscribe now and elevate your fantasy baseball experience to a new level. All right, Matt, we got 5 more guys here that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to get into targets and avoids.
All right. We got Mr. Steer, Yandy Diaz, Josh Young, Max Muncy, and Alec Bohm. Steer, Dom's going to be talking about later in the show. Yandy Diaz, for me, is going to probably be on my bust list. I have no love for the dude. Do not touch him. Do not go near him. He is just somebody that I don't think is going to live up to everybody's expectation. I can give you a whole bunch of stats, but we're going to cover him probably later in the season. So I'm not really going to just cover him now in that aspect. Just stay away. Josh Young, I'm going to be talking about later in the show. Max Muncy is a home run machine with lack thereof average, but with that lineup, he's going to benefit quite greatly. So just expect like a 220, batting average with, a hundo and 50,000 bombs. And Alec Bohm is going to be consistent. I'm not drafting him as a starting third baseman, but if you're playing corner infield leagues, he's a great asset, great price, 100% target him in those leagues.
Yeah, Matt, great take here on most of these guys. As you mentioned, Steer is somebody I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. Yandy Diaz is an interesting one for me just because of his age. The guy is, going to be 32 years old this year. And we never really saw any type of season similar to what he did last year. We all know he could hit for batting average. He's done it his whole career. He's a career 290 batting average guy. but we never really saw him take a step forward in the power department the way he did last year. 22 home runs is a career high for Yandy Diaz. The 95 runs was a career high, and the 78 RBIs also a career high for Yandy Diaz. And he played 137 games, 525 at bats. Somebody I find, quite interesting. The underlying stuff actually does look pretty good for Yandy Diaz, but once again, buying into an age 31-year-old breakout is tough to do.
32
Coming off the
now.
board. Yeah, he's gonna. Yes, yeah, I did say he's gonna be 32 this year. He broke out at age 31. So, that's what I was saying there. But I pick 108, a little bit steep for my blood. Josh Young coming back from the injury, he should be ready to go for opening day. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a discount on Josh Young, and I really, really love that. Coming off the board at pick 116. Honestly, it looks like that's going to be a bargain. Max Muncy in that Dodgers lineup. Honestly, that's actually a decent buy too at pick 149. We know who he is. The batting average is going to kill you, but elite power when he's on the field. And Alec Boehm, honestly, he had a decent year last year, but not somebody I'm really going out of my way to draft. At pick 153, probably looking at starting pitchers around that time. So I'm really not going to have much of Alec Boehm this year. But Matt, let's get into a little target and avoid. I think it's the most fun segment on these shows, and I think the fans really, really enjoy it. So Matt, you know what? Your choice, bro. You take the lead here, man. Take us in any direction you want to go in.
All right. I mean, I already started with Haterade. Might as well finish with it.
There you go. We love it. Do you got a sip for us? If you guys watch it on YouTube, Matt, you got a sip for the fans on YouTube. There it is, guys. And if you're just on the audio, and Matt's got a big gulp of the Haterade, and he is ready and raring to go.
Don't forget my pinky was up, so I was fancy about it.
Oh, and yes, he was very fancy. Very fancy.
SpongeBob reference. We're going to be talking Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado, on top of the fact that he has, kind of regressed negatively last year, and since leaving the Rockies, he had that nice 2022 season, but then, the pretty much the bookends of his career in St. Louis just hasn't been wonderful. His first year on there, he stayed healthy, but he had 81 runs, 34 doubles, 3 triples. The 34 home runs were nice, but am I reading the right one? Yeah, 34 home runs, but the batting average is pretty much in the tank, which really wasn't like my favorite. Last 2022 was really nice. I was really excited with that. The real nice bounce back in both the batting average, home runs stayed consistent, the ribbies were up, and so were the runs were down. Then last year was an absolute fall down with 71 runs, 26 bombs, 93 ribs, and batted 266. I don't know what's up with him. And now that he ended the year with back spasms is the one that scares me the most. My guy isn't, the youngest guy at 32, going to be 33 this year. It kind of scares me. It reminds me of a lot of what we see with Clayton Kershaw, where, the back spasms just keep you off the field. And if that's the case, Nolan Arenado has a serious opportunity to really hurt you detrimentally throughout the season. He'll play, and when he plays, he'll probably have some moments of genius. But if we're starting to see, a trend of the batting average coming down and the team not performing, Nolan Arenado could truly hurt your fantasy team. So, I've dropped him significantly through my rankings. If I remember correctly,
where do you got him? We'll throw it out there for the people.
Let me see real quick. I got it actually.
And guys, if you want access to Matt and I's rankings, which are tiered and super deep at every position, I think we have 40 at almost every infield position and over 100 at starting pitcher and outfield. Join us on Subtext. Guys, we're doing so much on there, and everyone on there is absolutely loving it and having a great time. We're giving out personalized draft grades and all that. But Matt, where do you got him ranked?
Got him at 9, which is not horrendous. I'd still take him. Too. I'd take him over Bregman just based off of just what I would hope would happen with Arenado. But, as I go through it and I think about the back injury, he'll probably fall to 10. I don't know. I don't feel safe drafting Nolan Arenado anymore. And I think that his days are in the majors as an elite third baseman are done.
Yeah, we're on a very similar page here with Arenado, Matt. The honestly only category he was the lead in last year was RBI, and everything else was pretty much subpar except the 26 home runs, which were probably around, average, and the 266 batting average over the last 3 years. I mean, over the last 4 years, you want to hear Nolan Arenado's batting averages. In 2020, Arenado hit 253. In 2021, he hit 255. In 2022, had a vintage Arenado season at 293, but 266 in 2023. Matt gave the Clayton Kershaw comp with the back spasms, and that was actually spot on. But that's not where I thought he was going. I thought he was going to compare him to his own teammate Paul Goldschmidt, who also, Father Time seems to be getting an upper hand on. So with Arenado here, I'm kind of fading him at the moment as well. But let's move on. You know what, Matt? Let's keep before we move on and spread more haterade, and then we get into some guys that we're taking in pretty much every draft. We do have a quick ad for you guys.
Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams, quick bets, live same game parlay, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Wow, I read that like Speedy Gonzalez. Did not intend on that. Whoopsie daisy. But yeah. All right, Dom. Give us the haterade. Give us
I'm feeling it today. Unfortunately, I don't have any haterade handy, but let's spread it anyway. I'm talking about Spencer Steer. Spencer Steer is getting a lot of love, around the industry, and I mean, I can almost see why, if when I have a couple beers in me, you got the beer goggles on, like you can kind of see it. But the more I deep dive on Steer, like almost the less that I like him. The only thing that he was really super elite at is his speed, and he's only stole 15 bags last year in 665 plate appearances, which is 582 at bats for him. And he had 23 home runs last year, but I think that's a lot of, a Great American Small Park, to be honest with you, because he doesn't hit the ball very hard. I'm just really not digging in on Steer, and it's not like his price is outrageous or anything. I picked 97, but still, that's even inside the top 100. I feel like there's a lot of other ways you can go at that point in the draft. Some exposure to that Reds lineup is definitely going to be good, and I think Steer's going to be all right. It's just I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him. I still think there's so many question marks when it comes to a guy like this. And his minor league track record doesn't like super blow you away either. Had a couple of 20 home run seasons, didn't really steal a lot of bases down there, didn't have a lot of plate discipline. So just somebody that I'm honestly avoiding in drafts this upcoming, couple of weeks, month, we're right here.
I mean, I hear you. I wish my only drawback for Steer is truthfully the fact that Jonathan India is causing a lot of havoc in the lineup. He's a serious cog and going to prevent Steer from playing every game. The only highlight would be is if he's hurt, stays hurt, and just doesn't play baseball anymore. That'd be wonderful. Maybe we can get him on. Yeah, that'd be great. Or maybe we can get him on a Franco. We'll see. That's a low blow. I'm kidding. I am kidding. But Spencer Steer, truthfully, I think honestly has all the upside in the world. I mean, you look at his minor leagues where he had 427 at bats and 417 at bats, and he had 24 and 23 home runs. The batting average is the only sus thing. I would probably say he's more like a 250, 260 hitter. And I mean, that he's going to benefit even more from being in the Great American Small Park. And or Haters Park, as I like to call it. Steer has the upside. It's just, there's a chance that he could possibly be in the minors because we're going to say, hey, let's not waste some options. Let's just send him down, call it a day because our lineup's full. And when somebody gets hurt, he gets moved on up. It's just going to be ugly regardless. I think he's going to be the one that's going to be hurting the most out of this whole thing. But let's talk some love. Let's get happy now. And this one is tentative though. I'm just going to warn everybody. This is premised based off of if he plays in the timeline they say, and that's Josh Young. Josh Young is coming at a great price, and ADP has been affecting his, draft price entirely because, he got hurt, and you're seeing calf injury. He's going to be out for 3 weeks, but that was starting on the 16th. He's only supposed to miss like a grand total of like a week of Grapefruit League games, and if he's on that timeline, I'm okay with it. Josh Young I don't really think he has a whole lot of like soft tissue issue injuries in his past. He has like weird little dings of like broken thumb or some kind of ding that just prevents him from being on the field. So like Young, I don't think is somebody that I would put a phalanges label on, which I haven't used much this offseason. So just my way to call somebody injury prone is just funnier. I understand it's a finger. It's just funny. Josh Young is great. And, I think that the upside in that Rangers lineup is just going to be amazing. And the price is great at pick 117. You can get all the way down and pass all these guys and still get a powerhouse of a bat in your lineup that I think has the potential to hit 35, 40 home runs with that lineup 100 and 100, back to 65, 270. Like, I think this is all in the realm of possibility for him. And, Young is going to be somebody that I'm seriously going to be targeting everywhere as long as the calf is okay. If he does happen to miss more time, the price is just going to go down. He won't even need to be your starter. I'm still going to tell you to target him, but I'm going to tell you to target him as more as your UT and, scoop up a top 9, top 10 third baseman right now. Right now, I will give you a little bit more inside baseball. He is like my number 7 third baseman this year. I am really high on Young. I'm all about it. So, do not sleep on him this year.
Yeah, honestly, Matt, I was gonna say if Young's healthy, he's my 6th third baseman. So we're pretty much on the same page. I back every single thing you said about Young. He's going to be very, 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 very good for years to come, especially in that Texas lineup. 26 years old for Josh Young, and like I said, I kind of just back everything Matt said, so I really don't have much to add here. But just monitor that injury, and of course we'll keep you posted here as long as you stay locked on with us. But let's move on to the last guy of this segment, my target, and I know he's going very high, but it's Austin Riley, guys. You can't go wrong with the young Austin Riley. I like to call Josh Young like Austin Riley light, because I think Josh Young is basically going to develop into an Austin Riley type of caliber player. He does everything, like I said, except steal bases. He hits the ball super hard. He even hits you for a little bit of average, and he's gotten way better at it over the year. And, all the underlying stuff backs it. It's a, potential 40 home run guy with 100 and 100 and a strong batting average. You take him in the 2nd round and you feel very, very confident about it. And honestly, if they play different positions, Austin Riley would be a great guy to pair with Jose Ramirez, because, they kind of complement each other very well. But once again, they play the same position. So, it's not going to pan out that way. But what the crazy thing is, Matt, if I asked you, how old Austin Riley is, how old do you think he is?
27.
He's 26. So him and Josh Young, somebody who just came up last year, are the same age. Like Austin Riley is my number 1. Not number. I want to make him my number 1 third baseman so bad, but just Jose Ramirez steals those bags, and that's what gives him the edge. But he's like my 1A third baseman, and I'm taking him everywhere I can get him.
Yeah, they're in a tier of their own. I'm right there with you with everything you said about Riley. The only problem I have with Riley, truthfully, is the fact that he goes right before Harper and right after Turner in ADP.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
And I'm not passing on those two for Austin Riley, because I think the upside for both of those guys, especially the position, is just a better value at both of those guys. So Austin Riley, I find myself not drafting all that much, even though I'm all about him. And again, my 1B, third baseman. So, with that being said, bro, why don't you get us out of here?
Real quick, just a quick 30 seconds, Matt, on just how you're approaching the position.
I'm kidding. Honestly, I'm approaching it as pretty much wherever I'm getting the best value with anybody in the top 10. And I'm making sure that I'm not walking away without somebody in the top 10. If I'm in a 12-man league, I'm prioritizing it to not leave the top 8, I think, or top 9 picks without a third baseman, and just make sure that I have them, because it's going to be real ugly. And Josh Young will be the exception to the rule. You'll be able to get him a little bit later, possibly.
Yeah, Matt, perfectly said. And guys, just real quick before we head out, I'll give you those 9 names. It's Ramirez, Riley, Devers, Henderson, De La Cruz, Machado if he's healthy, Royce Lewis, Alex Bregman, and Matt's not a big Nolan Arenado guy, but Arenado is there. And honestly, I would feel safe with him going in as my starting third baseman if I waited at the position. But guys, to get a top third baseman, don't wait at the position. It's not deep enough to do so. That's our final thoughts here. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. Shout out to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball first listen. Guys, until next time, we got outfield for you. See ya.